another installment of Win with Glenn, where we talk about best practices, life principles that will help you in all that you do.
Welcome to the Win with Glenn video podcast, where Glenn Henderson and special guests will give you the tips, insight, and tools you need to grow, develop your business and career. Go with us as we dive into the best practices and rock-solid principles that will elevate you and bring proven success. Now, here's Glenn Henderson.
Welcome, everybody. We're still talking about culture. It was so good last time, at least setting up the basis, that I want us to continue to consider the importance of culture. And so, Jim, one of the things that I wanted to say, and you can help me think this through, but a great culture was so essential, and it has a sibling too, by the way, which we're going to talk about separately, is character.
Right.
But a great culture is contagious.
Yes, it is.
And tell me some of your experiences in that area, because I want people really to understand why the culture of their organization, the atmosphere. I use the word energy.
Yeah.
And people
All of
say,
that, all of
people
that.
say, well, I
It's
left this place because he said this place got bad energy.
Yeah.
And
Well,
well,
it
they were
does,
saying
you know,
it, they
it
were
can
saying it
have.
to culture. They
Yeah,
were saying
it
I
has
don't
to
like the
do.
culture.
Culture has to do with the whole environment of the company. I'm coming to work, building people. You know, am I coming being energized every day? You're the employer, so you're paying me. Are you getting the most out of me? Are you getting the most out of my brain, out of my education, my training, my innovation, my creativity? Well, not if it's a negative culture.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna give my best. I'm not gonna have my full energy and all of that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think it has to be built intentionally. It has to be built around the core of who you are.
Right.
That kind of thing. I've been in companies where, even as an outsider coming in to help, you can just sense the negative energy in there. And I'm not into all of that kind of stuff, but you can feel the energy, the frustration of people, the anger. As you know, our organization would interview hundreds and hundreds of people sometimes. Right. And, you could tell by what they're saying, how they felt about the company. It's kind of like a marriage in a way, isn't it?
That's right. Well, it's personal.
It's personal. And if I feel like I'm not valued,
Right.
values,
That's right.
not valued as an employee, no one listens to me. One of the things that a lot of times in companies that makes the culture go sour is no one listens to me. No one listens to me. And they don't want to hear my ideas. They hired me because I'm good at this, but the culture becomes restrictive.
Right.
Well,
people, to your
ahead.
point, people feel less important. And as you said,
It's a
they
job.
aren't valued. And for some reason, I don't understand why. And when we talk about these best practices and rock solid principles, folks saying, well, just tell me how to make money, or just give me this
No.
formula. Well, I'm giving you the basics,
This is the
basics of all
That's
life
correct.
is culture. And I think people have a problem with that saying, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And then I've also said, if you aren't willing to fall for something, you'll stand for anything.
Yes, you will.
And so somewhere you have got to say, this is what we do, this is who we are, and it's not negotiable. Even, Jim, to the point of profits should take second place to people.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Let me tell you something.
You read my mind.
I heard this years ago. Go ahead.
Profits, and then tell me what you heard.
Yeah.
Profits should take second place
To people.
But go ahead. What did you
No
hear?
people, no profits.
Yeah, that's right.
I heard this years ago.
Just give me the profits.
It just hit me. No one ever died of too much encouragement.
Okay.
No employee ever quit and said, "Hey, I'm going next door because y'all are just."
Yep, that's right.
You're encouraging me, to inspiring me. I got to get out of here. No one ever did that. You never went to a funeral of someone they said, "Well, that guy died because he was just given too much positive feedback."
Right.
Positive feedback, encouragement. I'm not saying you don't correct things. That's
right.
You've got to correct behavior and so on. What I'm saying is that atmosphere's got to do something for me,
right,
in order for me to be a valuable person to you.
And that contagious atmosphere, if you will, that energy, or the top 5, top 10 companies, what you're known for. That term that we like to use is reputation is from repetition. A reputation, what you do, that becomes what
Constantly.
you're known for.
That's right.
And so people say, well, I'm not going to go work for that company. They treat people this way, they treat people that way.
Yeah.
And by the way, here's another, these are rock solid principles. So when good news travels fast, here's a rock solid principle. Bad news travels faster.
Faster.
so,
Very
when you, and I tell folks too, no reputation is better than a bad reputation. There's rock solid principle number
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
But a contagious, a great culture, and we're going to talk about some of the companies that people say, well, you should go work. You notice how that works? You should go work for,
Right.
or here's my experience. You notice how it
Or
sells
don't
it?
do business with that.
That's right. Or don't do.
It has
and-
nothing to do with the service or the
Yep,
product.
yep.
It has to do with the
The
people you
culture.
got to
That's
deal
right.
with.
That's right. And I tell folks you should never have to sell your business. It will sell itself, and other people will actually sell it, and they'll say this company is a great company, or these people. When I go to this place, this is Starbucks says, and this is a little promo. Starbucks says it's not about the coffee; it's about the experience.
It is, yeah.
And they say, well,
Yeah.
it's the experience, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. If you establish you can't be afraid, and maybe you help me think this through, and our people think this through. People sometimes are too afraid to say, well, there is a line in the sand.
Yeah.
We will not. This is who we
won't
are.
tolerate that.
We have these. We had in our logistics business, and then we actually had it posted in our office, non-negotiables.
Yes, I remember that.
We also had a set of personal non-negotiables. We said we will not go into debt.
Yeah.
That was part of. We will not go into debt.
Which drives the culture as well.
That's right.
If I work there and I know this, I know what to expect. That's the line
Right.
in the sand.
We won't go into debt. We talked about how we would manage the accounting, and because we knew also that people were watching us.
Sure.
And they were watching.
More visible than you think it is.
Yes, I remember when one of our customers overpaid us by hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was hundreds, and I can see myself. I tell the story. I can see myself in the Bahamas and
Right.
the Caribbean
Sailing
vacation,
around with,
and my accounting department, they knew it because they received the wire, and so I said, well, if I cheat and if I take this, then I'm just giving them now
An opportunity to do
well
the same.
the approval, exactly, the approval.
He
And
did
so
it.
so those that's right.
The boss did it. I might as well do it too.
So, you're right. And so when they saw me return this and say, no, we can't do this. This is who we are. Then it became a defining moment of the culture. And then, in fact, and what a lot of people don't realize, so when we talk about bad energy, toxic, that should tell us something. That people are looking for good energy.
Right.
They're looking for
Honesty,
a place where,
truthfulness,
sure.
all that.
And businesses too frequently look to avoid that personal aspect. They just say, well, it's about the black and white, it's about
Bottom line,
profitability,
this and that.
or as you said, it's about the product, it's about the service. No, first and foremost, it's about the people.
I have a great example from the Royal Bank of Scotland, one of my clients a number of years ago. So they had people wire in to the international office instructions about trading currencies. Right? I'm not a big treasury guy, I don't know all of the details, but they were having a problem and the customers were upset. They were whatever that telex machine in the information, right?
Well, we're going to say
that-
smartphone, that'd be
Yeah.
telex.
They brought it by mule.
Some people don't know what a telex machine is right now.
As old as I am, they brought it by mule.
We're talking about
horseback.
microfiche,
Yeah.
but you go.
They would say, hey, I want to trade X amount, and I want to exchange this for this currency and that currency. And the exchanges were not, the trades were not being handled efficiently, and people were losing money on the other end, right? So it came to the attention of one of the managing directors, who came to my house in the middle of the night and got me out of bed. We were living in Nassau then. He gets me out of bed at 12:30 at night. We go to his office to deal with this. And basically, someone there, the culture was don't tell the boss. If you tell the boss, you're going to get in trouble. So someone was sort of bought into this idea of better not tell anybody. And he was hiding these to the tune of 300 exchanges. So after a while, and the reason I bring this up, it's a snowball.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we can't say anything, this, and this. And pretty soon it's kind of a secret stuff behind the thing. And who's being hurt by this? The customer's being hurt, the company's being hurt, but most of all, the employees are being hurt because what has to happen now is, and the culture was, we will make it right for that customer. We will make it right. We will retrain our customers. It wasn't what struck me about it wasn't a punitive culture. They didn't fire everybody and yell and scream at people or whatever. They corrected the mistake. They made it right to the customer, which was expensive. I have to tell you, they had to spend a lot of money to make it right, but they did it. Why? Because that's who they were. That's the company. And they retrained their employees, and they lost very few people in the process because it was a culture of encouragement. We want to do it right. But what we learned in there was a missing link. And the missing link was you can't be honest about your mistakes. Hopefully they got that changed. And then when people made mistakes going forward, they could tell somebody and get it corrected before it piled up in the desk. And you know what happens? Stuff piles up. It's never good.
Yeah. Well, we may come back to this. There's a lot more that's just coming to my mind that I have to say about culture. But I just want to leave you all with one thing, and it's not the wrap up, but it's one very important thing regarding culture. And I learned this as I share with people in a whole sales context, and that is people do business with people that they like.
Yes, they do.
You could have
Number
a
one
great
thing.
you could have a great product, but if I don't like you, we're not going to do business. And you could have a great environment of people together, but if they do not like being like marriage, like marriage, but we hate one another. So I hate you. I hate you too. But so the culture is critical, and I want you guys to visit us again as we continue to talk about these rock solid principles. And I hope that you have really gotten the irreducible, the critical matter that culture does matter, and that you want to have a winning culture, and a winning culture starts with you. This is Win with Glenn. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us for the Win with Glenn video podcast. Stay connected by following and subscribing to this podcast on these platforms. Join us every week as Glenn and special guests give you the tools you need to grow and have a successful business or career.